Jim Jones.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, he's been in a few fights.
Has he won any?
I believe so.
Oh, really? Which one?
They say he beat up
his baby mama or something like that?
Nah, he beat up dude at the restaurant.
Who, the cook?
Let me see.
I don't even think he's from Harlem, tell you the truth.
You don't think he's from Harlem?
Nope. I think because they never talk about him being in Harlem. I think he's from North Bronx or some shit.
You know, he claims a blood gang out there.
Britney Spears claims a blood gang.
Man, I didn't know how many people love Nas. Well, people, and I'm watching people go absolutely batshit crazy. Like, oh, damn. Then started. They asked me how I felt about what was said about me on another platform from some other people. You know, that's something. I'm not a troublemaker.
Jim Jones really messed with the wrong legends this time. He didn't just toss shade, he went straight at Nas and Pusha T, two certified hip-hop heavyweights, like he had nothing left to lose. Now his whole career's hanging by a thread, and the game's watching every move he makes. It all started when Jim got a little too bold, claiming Nas was never that impactful, calling Pusha T overrated, and even bragging that he was the one who made Nas go viral again. That's when fans said, nah, this ain't it. Because in that moment, Jim didn't just talk slick, he crossed a line he can't ever walk back. What followed wasn't some playful rap beef, it felt like the entire culture turned its back on him overnight. And the crazy part? It started looking deeper than a music argument. Was Jim's outburst just pure ego gone wild? Or was this hip-hop's way of showing him the door? That wild quote still won't die down. It's all over social media. His Summer Jam performance got cut off the lineup. And Pusha T, he's still standing tall, refusing to let Jim slide 1 inch. This whole thing turned into a slow-motion career crash we all saw coming. That one reckless comment sent Jim spiraling fast. He didn't just toss a diss, he tried to erase Nas's entire impact like it was nothing. He wasn't just criticizing Nas's new material, he was coming for the legacy of one of the most respected culture-shifting artists hip-hop has ever seen.
Jim Jones, Nas wasn't even a debate. Nas is a legend. Nas put in work. Nas's lyrics. Jim's not even close. The shit Jim says doesn't even make sense compared to what Nas has done for our culture. Hip-hop, don't you stupid motherfucker know, you dumb, idiotic, wanna be entertained. Are you crazy? You don't play with someone's legacy like this.
Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Gang. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confidence. Listen, I love Capo, but Capo was never that good of a rapper. When Jim Jones got ballin', we was happy for him because we like Capo. We was like, yo, he got one, but he was never that good of a rapper.
And he didn't say it on some low-key podcast either. He dropped that bomb on the Joe and Jada podcast, a chill spot where artists usually keep it real, not where careers go to die. But Jim, he doubled down. Said it with his chest that Nas never really meant much to the culture, and even claimed his own Billboard numbers could go toe-to-toe with Nas. Let's be clear, Nas ain't just another rapper, he's a pillar of hip-hop. Illmatic is literally taught in college courses, and King's Disease proved he's still getting sharper with time. Meanwhile, Jim's out here talking like he just dropped The Chronic. This wasn't competition, it was straight-up pride taking the wheel. It wasn't confidence, it was straight-up insecurity dressed up as just an opinion. And the wildest part? He even dragged his own son into the mix like that made it any better. What kind of lesson is that supposed to teach?
Can you sing along the 5 Pusha T records right now? His records.
Yes.
His records?
Yeah.
Name
I love Pusha. Nostalgia.
Oh, you was a Pusha T fan.
You know.
I didn't know he had fans like that. Can you name 5 Pusha T records? No, his records. Pusha T, I love your soul, my dog. You're not in my top 50. You might be in Charlemagne's top 50 and things like that, but you haven't done that much for me in my life. Like, I didn't never want to be like Pusha. I never had a Pusha moment in my life. I never thought, like, you dig? Like, where I'm from, niggas want to be like you if you was really that dude and that rapper and things like that.
Wanted to be like Pusha?
Shit.
He was influenced by Pusha?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
That's why Pusha did the Mr. Me Too record.
Okay, cool. You a very strong Pusha T fan. But what else has he bring to the game? Did he make people want to dress like him? Did he have some slang that everybody was talking like him? There would be the girls, all the girls wanted to do him. Like, what is the...
The internet didn't waste a second before going off. people started posting side-by-side receipts showing every Nas award, every sold-out arena, and every timeless album stacked right up against Jim's chart numbers.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening.
All this chaos just because Jim decided to rewrite hip-hop history with a hot take literally nobody asked for. Any regular person, after getting cooked that hard online for disrespecting a legend, would have hit pause, maybe even dropped an apology to cool things down. But not Jim. He pulled a full stunt, went on Nightcap, looked Shannon Sharp dead in the eyes and said it again. He really claimed Nas never had the influence people say he did, like he was rewriting the book on hip-hop right there on air. Then he dropped that wild statement about Nas always being in second place. Second to who, though? Jay-Z and DMX? That's crazy talk. Those three were kings in totally different realms. Nas was the poet, the mind of the streets, full of raw truth and introspection. Jay-Z was the mogul, the blueprint for the business grind, and DMX, he was chaos and emotion wrapped in pure fire. Comparing them like they're in one lane makes no sense. It's like trying to compare Kendrick Lamar to Future. Both great, but for completely different reasons. Different sounds, different missions. But saying Nas never led the pack? That's not just a wild opinion, it's straight up erasing the story that shaped the culture. And the funniest twist? Jim doesn't even hide that he was a fan. He admitted that as a teenager, he wanted to dress like Nas, copy his whole style.
Can't tell you one Nas record. You heard? Like, let's keep it a buck crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them know. But
you know what I mean?
A lot
Like,
of them know.
This record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan. Period. I'd never take that away from him. But then, as I got in the game, you got to realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that. I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
Now he's acting like a movie cameo from the late 90s is enough to wipe out a 30-year legacy? That's beyond wild. This is where the delusion really started to shine. It stopped being about music or stats. Jim began talking like he needed Nas beneath him just to feel equal. Like the numbers refusing to back him up made him bitter. It wasn't respect, it was pure envy masked as analysis. He wanted to force his way into GOAT territory instead of earning it. But all he did was expose how deeply that insecurity runs. And if you thought Jim was finally gonna chill after all that, nope. On Bag Fuel, he went all in again. Dropped one of the boldest, most unhinged lines of the entire saga. He didn't just say Nas wasn't relevant, he took it even further. Nope, Jim didn't stop there. He actually claimed he was the one who brought Nas back to viral life, like the entire culture owed him a round of applause for reminding us Nas even existed.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when you talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that bullshit.
But listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit of run. But Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like,
Ain't no shame in that. There a lot of more folks came up second to Tom Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his friends.
Go listen to Nas, or even go listen to Jim. Music is to be listened to, not to be talked about. This is the most disrespectful, one of the most disrespectful shit that's happened to our culture is how much attention this Jim Jones and Nas shit is getting. It's one of the most disrespectful shit that's happened to our culture. But I'm sure y'all will find some other stupid shit to pay attention to fuck our legacy, to fuck our culture, while the powers that be and the motherfuckers that's holding the strings are steady laughing at us, disrespecting us while they on their yachts and mega mansions. They give us the crumbs, and what happens? We want to flex on each other. Y'all done really let this motherfucking device take over y'all's souls. y'all spirits, y'all's minds. This thing controls everything y'all think, y'all say, and y'all do. Now, do you think God wanted it like that? And y'all can't even help it. Y'all run to this and you stay on it all day and entertain bull. Y'all need to be ashamed of yourself for even entertaining this Nas and Jim shit. Ashamed. But this is what a good example, and I want y'all to hear me, a good example of what social media is doing. Social media can take anybody who ain't and put them against somebody who's one of the greatest orators, speakers, rappers, men in our time. And y'all think that's cool? Y'all think that shit is like fly? Y'all done lost it, bro. Y'all done lost the essence of what life is about, of what being black is about. They're winning.
That's next level delusion right there. The internet didn't let that slide for a second. The reactions came in fast and brutal. One fan clapped back saying, "The only reason people are talking about you is because you keep saying dumb stuff about Nas. Nobody's interviewing you unless it's for clicks." Another wrote, "The disrespect from Jim Jones toward Nas is off the charts. It's embarrassing at this point. You get no stripes for trash-talking legends." And here's the thing, receipts don't lie. The math was never in Jim's favor. Nas has dropped 3 albums in the last 5 years, snatched up a Grammy, and packed out shows across the world. The man's been working while Jim's been hopping from podcast to podcast, talking wild like that equals accomplishments. He really thought he was sparking some new wave of controversy, but what he actually did was kick off the slow-motion funeral for his own career. Now let's spin it back to 2024, where this mess really started heating up. The Louis Vuitton Spring-Summer Show in Paris, one of the most star-studded events of the year. You had Beyonce, Jay-Z, Rihanna, LeBron, basically the entire A-list universe sitting front row. The mix of fashion, fame, and power was unreal. Pharrell was making major history, debuting his first collection as the new head of Louis Vuitton Men's, cameras flashing from every angle. It was a global moment. Then suddenly the music hit. But this wasn't just any beat, it was Clips. For the first time in over a decade, Pusha T and No Malice stormed back onto the scene with a brand new track. Sharp, cold, and cutting like a warning shot. The crowd went crazy, you could feel the temperature change, even Jay-Z was nodding along, locked in on the energy. But make no mistake, this wasn't just a random song premiere, this was a lyrical ambush broadcast to the world. The bars were razor-edged, and the target was crystal clear. The moment that line hit, chasing a feature out of your element, everyone knew who it was about. It was aimed straight at Jim, who had been cozying up to Drake ever since getting called an honorary member of that circle. And just like that, the message was delivered loud and flashy. Jim wasn't on their level, he was just orbiting it. A Dipset member from Harlem caught in the middle of a lyrical storm. And let's not forget, this is the same Drake that Pusha T annihilated with The Story of Adidon, a diss so brutal it left scars that still haven't healed to this day. This wasn't Pusha firing off a random diss on SoundCloud, nah, this was surgical. He turned Paris Fashion Week into his own war zone, playing chess while everyone else was still figuring out checkers. That's the elite level he's operating on. Meanwhile, Jim couldn't stop talking. He was everywhere. The Breakfast Club, Rap Caviar, Drink Champs, dragging Pusha's name through every interview, yelling, "Pusha's not even top 50. But while Jim was ranting on podcasts, Pusha was out there making billionaires, fashion houses, and rap legends sit front row to watch his revenge unfold in real time. That's how you clap back, with power, not podcasts. And there were layers to this. It wasn't just about who dropped the hottest verse, it was about symbolism. The setting, the production, the people behind it, everything had meaning. Pharrell himself produced the track, the same Pharrell who built Clips' signature sound and shares that deep Virginia bond with Pusha. This was brotherhood turned strategy. They even debuted chains and whips inside Louis Vuitton's Paris headquarters, yes, inside the building, overlooking the Seine River like it was a movie. Pharrell told the New York Times that he literally pointed out the window and said, This was made in this room. We just started walking around, looking out this window, and you see all of this. I mean, we're beating this system, bro. That's how iconic the moment was. Music, art, and rebellion all blending together in real time. While Pusha was securing legacy moments in Paris, Nas was quietly stacking real power in Queens. While Jim was busy chasing his next viral headline, Nas was out here locking in Resorts World Queens, a massive 350,000 square foot casino project with a $5 billion investment behind it. This wasn't some vanity brand deal, it was generational wealth moves for his city. Real equity, real ownership, real vision. Meanwhile, Jim's still bragging about a summer jam slot like it's 2008 all over again. Nas didn't even need to drop a diss track. He let the receipts do the talking. Those business plays hit way harder than any verse could. Fans noticed instantly. The comment sections lit up. People were saying stuff like, dude who can't stop talking about going viral while Nas is out here literally building Queens. That's the energy difference. When you're really rich, really respected, and really relevant, you don't argue online. You let your life flex for you. But Jim, he couldn't even keep the crowd. Picture this. Summer Jam 2024. The night Jim had hyped up for months. Cameras rolling, the lights drop, his moment arrives, and silence. Not cheers, not boos, just crickets. The energy was gone. And then came the ultimate blow. Funkmaster Flex, one of Jim's biggest supporters for years, straight up cut his set short. You could see the pain hit Jim right there on stage. It was supposed to be his victory lap, but it turned into a career wake. Because truth be told, Jim didn't bring the hits, he brought the drama, and the crowd wasn't buying it. But even after all that public humiliation, Jim still wasn't ready to bow out. Nope, he had one last bullet in the chamber, and this time he aimed straight for the personal. After that Louis Vuitton takeover, Pusha didn't say much publicly, but the whispers inside the industry said it all. He wasn't done yet. Word started spreading that the upcoming Clips reunion album was fully locked in, packed with sharp, surgical shots aimed directly at Jim. That Paris debut track, that was just the warning shot. Insiders claimed the rest of the project was going to be darker, colder, and way more direct. Some folks in the business even started calling it Pusha's Coke Bear moment because he's fully embracing that villain energy now. No filters, no soft punches, just straight bars with venom. And if Jim keeps talking reckless, it's starting to look like he's walking straight into a lyrical massacre. And it's not even just about the lyrics anymore, it's about the entire presentation. Pusha's aligning his comeback with global luxury. Fashion houses, art shows, billionaire circles, while Jim's out here rapping in Harlem corners, dropping freestyles on the same beat he just got cooked on. Yeah, you heard that right. Jim actually flipped the Chains and Whips instrumental and tried to turn it into a diss response. But he couldn't leave it there. He crossed the line when he decided to throw shade at No Malice.
What I did for Nas probably never been done for him in his life. He's never been that viral at all, ever. Ever. He's never been talked about like this ever in his life.
Now, has Nas reached out to you?
You did. The last time he was in some shit like this where people were comparing was when him and Jay was beating on him. You heard? You did? Like, and I don't want to talk about other people's career, but let's just get to the semantics of it.
Since the whole Nas? Okay.
I don't know Nas to have a conversation with him. You don't have a conversation, we can have that too and shit like that. You dig? Like, I don't really care.
That's where things got flat out messy. Pusha's built for battle, sure, but bringing up No Malice, a man who walked away from the street life, found faith, and rebuilt himself from the ground up, that wasn't slick. It was disrespectful. You could feel the shift. People started saying Jim went too far, that he didn't know when to quit. And if there's one thing everybody knows about Pusha, it's that he never moves fast, but when he does, it's devastating. His silence isn't weakness, it's strategy. So while Jim kept yapping on podcasts, that calm from Pusha started to feel like the quiet before a thunderstorm. Then Jim made his biggest blunder yet, on camera. During a live interview, he straight up trashed Clips' brand new single ACE Trumpets, laughing it off like it was no big deal. But it backfired hard. Instead of coming off confident, he looked bitter. Even fans who once backed him started saying he was spiraling, but Jim just wouldn't chill. Instead of laying low, regrouping, or letting the noise fade, he doubled down again, hopping from one podcast to another, still running the same tired claim that Nas and Pusha were overrated, like he hadn't just been embarrassed in front of the whole industry. Meanwhile, Pusha's silence spoke volumes. Every time Jim opened his mouth, it felt like he was digging his own grave one clip at a time. Social media was ruthless. Fans were clowning him left and right. Comments like, "Bro's out here doing free promo for Pusha," and every time Jim speaks, Pusha's album pre-orders spike, flooded his pages non-stop. The internet wasn't letting him breathe. And what made it even worse? The industry started backing away, quietly, subtly, but noticeably. DJs who once hyped Jim up were suddenly booked up. Podcast hosts who loved him a month ago stopped calling. Brand deals dried up. Summer festival invites, gone. Jim thought he was starting a wave, but all he started was his own slow cancellation. Meanwhile, Pusha was moving like a mastermind, popping up in closed-door meetings with fashion execs, partnering with luxury brands, attending exclusive art shows with billionaires, and locking in high-end collaborations. He didn't even need to drop another diss record yet. The optics alone had him looking untouchable. Jim, on the other hand, started to look like the loud neighbor who won't stop talking while everyone else is leveling up. The game was moving on without him, and he was the only one who didn't realize it. And here's the wildest part. Nas didn't say a single word. No tweets, no interviews, not even a slick caption. Just more business wins, more sold-out arenas, and more respect from every major player in the game. That silence? It was loud enough to drown Jim out completely. By the end of it all, Jim was scrambling, jumping on any platform that would still hand him a mic, trying to convince people he wasn't mad, while sounding exactly like a man who was furious. The energy around him shifted for good. What started as casual trash talk spiraled into a real-life lesson on knowing when to humble yourself or lose everything trying to prove a point. Jim kept pretending he was unbothered, saying stuff like he doesn't even listen to clips, but the fake calm didn't fool anyone. You could hear the tension in every word. That forced chill cracked every time he tried to downplay it, because deep down he knew Pusha and Nas had buried him without even lifting a finger. That's when the whole vibe flipped. It wasn't just Nas and Pusha T anymore, it was the entire culture closing ranks against him. The blogs roasted him for weeks straight. Even Dipset fans started turning on him, saying things like, "Bro, just stop talking before it gets worse." The same crowd that once cheered him on was now begging him to quit while he still had a shred of dignity left. This wasn't just another rap beef, it was a full-blown reality check. Jim Jones stepped into a ring with Nas and Pusha T, thinking he could go toe-to-toe with the greats, but they didn't even swing back.
Yes.
About Pusha T.
People don't like people, yeah, see? There we go. And then look what happens. But I'm ready for all things, man. Shouts to Pusha, shouts to that guy, shouts to the clips. You know what I mean? Congratulations.
Do you like the new song?
No, but you know.
You don't like Ace Trumpets?
What's so great about it?
It's so good.
It's good?
It's so, oh man.
It's good?
So, yeah, there's something going on that you ain't telling us about,
it's
bro.
It's good in what? A nostalgic value of it?
You don't think Ace Trumpets is hard?
I don't believe them. But that's a whole nother story. I don't want to downplay nobody's credit.
Nas stayed quiet and let his empire talk for him. Pusha made power moves on global stages. And Jim? He ended up shadowboxing his own reputation. Now he's not trending. He's not charting. He's not even in the conversations he tried to insert himself into. It's like he became a ghost in the same culture he once helped build. And the craziest part? The Clips reunion album still hasn't even dropped yet. If the rumors are true about those tracks, that might be the final nail in the coffin. So if you're into all this drama, music battles, and the real stories behind the scenes, make sure you like, share, and subscribe for more. Your support means everything. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for even more of the Real Talk next time.